Welcome to the 2020 Elyria High School Winter Orchestra Concert. I am the Orchestra Council President, Cadence Downey.
And I'm the Orchestra Council Vice President, Jackie Kaminsky. We're excited to be here with you tonight.
We would like to give a massive thank you to our parents and family, our amazing PAC staff, and our board and administration members. None of what we do would be possible without their support. Before we begin, we would like to share an exciting accomplishment. 2 weeks ago, our chamber orchestra went to state conference at Hudson High School and received a 1, which is the highest score. We are all very excited to have received this superior rating.
We've worked very hard in the class.
Thank you.
We've worked very hard in the classroom during the weeks leading up and are excited to play that music with you, for you tonight. To stay up to date with our last concert and the upcoming Chicago trip, please check the back of your program. Tonight, we honor the teachers for their hard work, dedication, and influence they've had in our seniors' lives. As we call each student out, they will be joined by the teacher they chose as our guest of honor. Though not all the teachers could be with us this evening, we want to recognize each by reading a short sentiment provided to us by the seniors. The teachers will be given a carnation as a symbol of honor and affection. They will also receive a framed picture with their student. We begin with Ray Bondi. Ray Bondi chose Mr. Jablonski to be his guest of honor. He writes, "I chose Mr. Jablonski because he goes above and beyond with his job of educating young minds. He not only is an educator, but an advocate for the children he teaches. He always made sure I understood what he was teaching to the best of his ability. Not only that, but he takes the time to know his students." Aiden Bliss chose Mrs. Budd as the guest of honor tonight, writing, "The teacher I chose was Mrs. Budd. I had her for English in 9th grade. She influenced me by always being there for me, even when she didn't have to. She's always wanted the best for me, even when I didn't do the work in her class most of the time. Even when I wasn't taking her class anymore, she loved when I talked to her randomly and always encouraged me to graduate. Once I graduate, I'll be sad to leave because I'll miss her. Thank you for being the best teacher, Mrs. Budd. You will always influence me to be the best person I can be." Cadence Downey. Cadence Downey invited her previous English teacher, Mrs. Cook, as her guest of honor tonight. Mrs. Cook has had a tremendous impact on Cadence's life and was the inspiration for her career path. She showed her passion and involvement for education and literature and inspired Cadence to also pursue English education in hopes of becoming influential to other students as well. Mrs. Cook never fails to make Cadence feel relevant and important, and saying hi to her is Cadence's favorite part of the day. She is very fortunate to have such a strong influence like Mrs. Cook in her life.
Gregory Armstrong chose Miss White as his teacher. Unfortunately, Miss White cannot be here tonight. Gregory White writes, "Miss White was one of my 9th and 10th grade music teachers. She has been one of the most inspiring teachers I have ever had. Miss White taught me how to play my instrument with confidence. She has also taught me that you must put in work to be able to succeed. Miss White works very hard to ensure that we all play our best. When we had trouble with our music, she would take the time to help us until we all understood, and that is why I think she's one of the most inspirational people in my life." Mariah Lynn chose Mr. Pompagnano to be her guest of honor. She writes, "I chose Mr. Pompagnano to be my guest of honor because he is a very unique and compassionate individual. We had several long-term subs this year, and our class was unhappy until Mr. P walked into our class with excitement. He accepted our class and the responsibility of teaching us for the rest of the year with open arms and a warm heart. He put in a lot of extra effort to help us grow and face challenges in life that helped us become who we are. He supports all of his students from going to basketball games to concerts and getting to know each student individually and keeping up with their fast-paced lives. He is not only a teacher, he is a guide and a friend all in one. Unfortunately, it was my first and last year with Mr. Pompagnano, but I wanted to thank him for all the knowledge that he instilled in me. The one thing I will miss the most about Mr. P is hearing him speak poetry to the class. I will forever be grateful for him and the support and kindness he has given my class." Isaiah Torres invited Miss Runyon as his guest of honor. He writes, Miss Runyon taught me in her 11th grade AP government class. She made the class fun with her endless rants. Each day in class was a new adventure. I fondly remember our lengthy discussions about intolerant people. No, I'm not kidding. Ask her.
Franco Trentadue invited Miss Irisari. He writes, I remember when I was in 2nd grade, sitting on the floor, listening to my teacher, who was named Miss Duncan. And for some reason, a random teacher came in and told us how high school is going to be an enormous amount of work and how hard it'll be. There have been some hardships along the way, but Miss Irisari is the living embodiment of how that random teacher, to what it seems like all those years ago, could be argued against. Miss Irisari is warm, generous, and a thoughtful teacher that has always been able to and willing to use her free time to not only help me, but other students as well. Thank you for teaching me Spanish for the past 2 years and being an awesome teacher. Ethan Schneider chose Mrs. Furness as his guest of honor. He writes, I invited Mrs. Furness to our concert because she had helped me when I had transferred schools. Being at a new school was tough, not knowing anyone, so I was very scared on the first day. She'd help me meet new people and feel welcome to my new school. Matt Martin chose Mr. W as his teacher of honor. He writes, the teacher Matt chose as Mr. W. He was my teacher in the 5th grade and taught science and social studies. Mr. W is Matt's favorite teacher because they always did lots of hands-on activities, and he was always there to help him and was a joy to have in class. Meadow Yates invited Mr. Black as her teacher of honor. She writes, Mr. Black is my favorite teacher for many reasons. He helped me see my potential and got me into some honors classes my freshman year. We bonded over our music and video game taste, and overall, he was a great teacher. Sean Dove chose Dr. Pope as his teacher of honor. Unfortunately, Dr. Pope could not join us tonight. Sean writes, I appreciate Dr. Pope because he was inspirational, motivational, and warm to everyone he met. I look back on the laughter we shared with fondness, and I am grateful for the time we had together.
Gabe White invited Mr. Yee as his guest of honor. He writes, I chose Mr. Yee. He was my first orchestra teacher and helped spark my love for orchestral music. When I first started, I wanted to play the violin, but he convinced me to play the bass, and gosh darn, am I grateful for that. I know I was a handful and probably still am, so I'd like to thank him for putting up with me. We hope you enjoy our concert tonight and appreciate the hard work that has gone into this challenging program. Without further ado, here's your first Elyria High School Orchestra Camerata.
All right, one last round of applause for our teachers and seniors. Everyone can take a seat now if they're staying for the concert. Thank you. Have a seat. Yep. You can go. All right, so I'm very excited to do my second concert with the 3 groups that we have tonight. Camerata will start, Symphonic is second, and Chamber is third. I'm going to try to keep talking to a minimum to let the music speak for itself. Just know that I'm very happy that so many of our teachers could come and share this moment with us. In addition to the flowers, they'll also be getting a picture frame with a picture of that student and them in it. We just took them in the lobby. So this is our first group. We're going to tune really fast. Our 2 selections are Symphonia in D, which is a intense, fast piece in D minor. This has kind of an extended first finger for a lot of the instruments, and it's very hard to get in tune. And then our second piece is a slower, very lyrical piece called Jupiter, which was written by Gustav Holst at the beginning of the 20th century. And he wrote a piece for all of the planets. And I encourage you, if the Cleveland Orchestra is playing the planets, which they do very often, go check them out because they are amazing. All right, here's Camerata. We're going to check our tuning, and then we'll get started right away. Thank you. All right, so we're going to welcome Symphonic to the stage. Symphonic is our middle orchestra here at Elyria High School. There are freshmen through seniors in this group, and we're really working on building some sensitivity and getting some beautiful string sounds out of this group. So this group is playing 3 pieces for us tonight, and we'll begin those after we tune. The first piece is called The Blacksmith, and it's a really catchy Irish and British Isles kind of folk song, and you'll be able to kind of hum it on the way home. So I really love this piece. The students had a lot of fun with it. It starts off slow, and it goes into a very challenging, fast, rhythmic section, and has a lot of offbeats and kind of different rhythms that we've been working on. The second piece is called Modus A4. It's a really beautiful, slow piece in A minor. And this piece is in 3/4, which is kind of different for some of these students, a newer meter. And our final piece is Pocahontas, and that is from the Disney movie Pocahontas. So it kind of is an overview of all of those songs, and it's a little bit of everything. Okay, this is Symphonic Orchestra, and we'll begin very quickly after we tune. Thank you. All right, we'll conclude this evening with the Elyria High School Chamber Orchestra. And the Chamber Orchestra has the opportunity every spring to go to what's called OMEA Large Groups Adjudications, which is a politically correct way of saying contest. And we were able to go, and you achieve a score 1 through 5, 1 being the highest. It's like golf, not basketball. And so we were able to get 1s this year and the highest score. So round of applause for our amazing chamber group. And the chamber group is going to play 3 pieces for you. The first is a piece that you actually heard in the fall, and it's kind of difficult. End of February's contest, so we have to perform 3 pieces, and so we decided to do a repeat of 1. And so this is New and Improved Vivaldi, classic Baroque piece. The second piece is a really interesting Tango Nuevo piece by Astor Piazzolla. And this piece will feature 2 of our band members, Carson and KJ. And the band also went to a contest this week, and they also got 1. So let's give a round of applause to the band. And while we're at it, the choir also had contests this weekend, and they also got the highest rating, so go choir. So we're really excited to have a great music program here at Elyria High School, and we share a lot of the members between especially the band and choir and the orchestra and choir, and so we're really excited about that. Then the final piece after we feature those band members is called Ellis Island, which is kind of a tribute to America in terms of allowing all of these people from all over the world into America to allow us to become a beautiful melting pot of mixed people. And so, of course, the Irish came at the beginning of the 19th century, and unfortunately they faced a lot of discrimination. And this piece is a combination of fiddle tunes and really beautiful, hopeful, slow melodies. After we finish this, we'll just dismiss you and we'll say good night for the evening. We won't see you again until very soon. So thank you very much.